Govinda, He Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dina Dayal. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dina Dayal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Jaya Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gaurahari, 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 Jaya Gaurahari, 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 Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Shri Guru Sundar Radha Jai Jai Vishnu Pada Guru Shri Sundar Govinda Jai Goswami Maharaj Jai Jai Vishnu Pada Guru Churamani Sava Shastra Siddhanta Vachila Bhakti Rakak Shri Dadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Rupanuga Guru Vargya Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda Ki Jai Samadaita Vaishnava Mandali Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premadi Hari Hari Jai Gurudev
Devashis Jai.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a prediction that the day will come when every intelligent man and woman in the world will see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's religion of love is the only panacea for all problems in this world. And eventually all other religious conceptions will vanish and only Mahaprabhu's religion will remain. What an extraordinary prediction. And we're all thinking, really? How is that possible? As we think we're a small minority religion, and I guess we are in a sense, in this material world. But the truth is we're actually part of the majority. We're only living in a minority area. This of the whole creation, this material world is a very small part of that. And the majority of the creation is Vaikuntha. And there everyone is 100% devoted to the service of the Lord. Only here, in a kind of cloudy area, the rebellious souls are given some license to move and try to live independent of their Lord. He could, no doubt, compel us to serve him. But firstly, that would negate our free will. And secondly, that would not be the service that he desires. The Lord could easily make compliant automaton servitors. Wouldn't that be nice, huh? If we all had we all had some automaton servitors to do the cleaning and the cooking and the washing up, and make everything easy for us. And that's what people aspire for in this material world. Comfort and convenience. And the whole world is pushing forward on this basis. We'll make life more comfortable and convenient for you. So you won't have to do anything. You don't even have to get out of bed anymore, just you can order your food and your groceries online, they'll be all delivered to you. You might have to just get out the bed to open the door to let them in with their delivery. Don't need to cook, someone else will do that for you. Don't need to do anything. Don't even need to come to the class, because there it is on YouTube or whatever it is, you can watch it from your bed. No need to come to Mangalarti. There's I saw, maybe some of you seen it on the internet, that someone in India made a machine that offers arti. Like a robot arm, it offers the lamp and it offers the incense and everything. So there you are, you can play your favorite cassette, or not cassette anymore, is it digital recording of the arti song, have your robot do the arti, get a few extra hours sleep and just watch the recorded highlights later on. Comfort and convenience, and we're all victims of that, isn't it? We all want the greatest possible amount of comfort with the least inconvenience. And so, we're surrounded by advertising to convince us of that, You're worth it. Because you're worth it, you should buy our shampoo or whatever it is. And what's the best-selling thing, or the biggest selling thing that they advertise? Anti-aging creams. Make you look 10 years younger. Put this cream on, you'll look 10 years younger. And why? Because that's what everybody desires most, is to be youthful. The people envy the young. Once they were also young, and now they envy those who still are young. But don't worry, there's some cream you can put on and you'll look young again. And they sell it and convince you that you have to have it, or whatever it is. Now advertising is all around that, convincing you that if you have this product, it doesn't really matter what the product does, but you'll be really cool if you have this product. Like you see the advertisement for the Apple Watch. You see there's like two nice looking young man, nice looking young lady running down the Californian highway, with their spandex jogging outfits on, and they got their watches on, and that's what's making them fit, is the watch. No one was ever fit really before this watch. Now you've got this watch, measures your heartbeat, it does everything, tells you how many steps you've done, all these things, and now you can be healthy. But not just healthy, you're one of the cool people running down the Californian highway, and everyone's looking at you and going, wow, look how cool they are, look how great they are. So they don't sell you a product anymore, they sell you a lifestyle, I saw, you may have seen it also near, it's gone now, but near to the Blackwall Tunnel, there was like a billboard, and it said, sorry, but the lifestyle you've ordered is out of stock. It was a Banksy picture. So this is what everybody wants, that a nice mail order online lifestyle, and most people now, they live online too. You look at their web presence on whatever it is. It used to be Facebook. I think that's all kind of passé now. It's something else now. And you'll see all these pictures that don't actually look like the person whose website or web page it is. They've put all kinds of filters on it to make them look slimmer, make them look younger, make them look, and all with the, pouting like a fish. So, and a lot of them, I've seen a lot of them, that's all they are. Just like picture after picture after picture of them. It's like a kind of neurosis, like some kind of, actually that it's been diagnosed as a type of mental illness, to be so self-obsessed that you have to keep, and people like wake up in the middle of the night to check how many likes they've got on their page. There's something desperately wrong with our world. Anyway, I've not really come here to give a critique of modern society, but it does beg the question, like what's happening to us. So we need to see beyond that. That is a hoax, actually. It's not comfort and convenience that will give us fulfillment in life. But when you find something that is worth dying for, and you can dedicate yourself to that, then you actually have some purpose in life. And we're not suggesting that anyone should die for Krishna consciousness, but Srila Guru Maharaj would say, it's of course noble to die for the cause, but it's always better to live for the cause. So, and that was one of Guru Maharaj's favorite expressions from Hegel, actually, die to live, die to live. And some devotees take that as a good motto to have tattooed on their arm, or a bumper sticker on the back of their car. But what it means really is what we are now. That has to die so that the golden self, the real self, can live. You can't make a compromise with Maya. Well, I had a friend once when I was younger, and he knew I was into Krishna consciousness. And he was into Wicca, which is, like magic, earth magic and everything, So he said, I was talking to him once and I said, you have to develop a higher taste. And that means by leaving aside the lower taste, the things that supposedly give us pleasure and fulfillment in this world, so that we can experience something higher. And he said, no, the Wiccan idea is that you can have the higher and the lower together, enjoy them all. Why not enjoy all of it, And basically that was his idea, and whether you're into Wicca or not, most people's idea is that we're here to enjoy ourselves. But actually Guru Maharaj would say, sacrifice is joy. And of course this is Guru Maharaj, we are not Guru Maharaj, but we can understand the sentiment. And Srila Govinda Maharaj would often say, this life is not meant for us to enjoy. Madhusudana Maharaj was talking to me once and he said, nobody needs to show me how to enjoy. I've been doing it for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Already know that. Want to learn, what do I have to do to get out of this world, to get out of this enjoying mood? And tellingly, Guru Maharaj would say that real humility means the complete absence of the desire to enjoy. That's the real meaning of humility. As long as we maintain this enjoying spirit, then we won't be able to practice real humility. What are we meant to do? Because we are by nature enjoyers. Because we're part and parcel of the Supreme Enjoyer. So that nature is also there within us. But right now, we're getting ourselves into a terrible mess because we're running here and there, looking for enjoyment in all the wrong places. Actually, our enjoyment is only possible when we can satisfy the Lord. Then, Vishvapurna Sukhayate, when He is satisfied, the whole universe becomes satisfied. So our purpose, whatever people may say, okay, that's all right. What does Whitney Houston say in her song? Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. But no, it's not true, actually, Learning to love God is the greatest love of all. And when you love God, then you can love all and also yourself in a appropriate way. When we can satisfy Him, we will find our satisfaction there. And this is actually our raison d'etre, the reason for our existence. In Srila Sridhar Maharaj's language, you are designed and destined for that. That's why we're here. And although we may think, yes, Krishna consciousness is going to give some benefit to me in my life. It'll make me more peaceful. It'll make me, whatever our idea is about Krishna consciousness. When I joined, the slogan was, chant Hare Krishna, stay high forever. That was the bait to get you to come in, Everyone wants to get high, right? But if you chant Hare Krishna, you never have to come down. You just stay high forever. It's not actually true, but we found from our own experience that that's not actually true. Not in the way that we thought it was to be, but it's being advertised like that, presented to us, that, okay, you like getting high on drugs, which a lot of us did in those days. Get high on Krishna. Then that's the real high. You'll really be high then, and you never have to come down. So okay, that hooked us in. Yeah, I want to be high forever and never come down. Yeah, that's it. That sounds good to me. But after a while, you get to realize, there's actually a lot more to this than that. It's not just some kind of experiential phenomenon that we've kind of signed up for. And we'll practice that because the holy name has its own life. And so we may be chanting the holy name with all kinds of ulterior motives. But ultimately, the name itself, Himself, will reveal to us what our real purpose is. And that is to satisfy him, the Namni, the Nam and the Namni, the name and the named. We are meant to satisfy him. And that's the reason why we exist. Again, Guru Maharaj is talking about Hegel, the Western philosopher, Hegel, German philosopher, who says, if God exists, he must have two characteristics. That is, that he must be for himself and by himself. So, for himself means that he only exists to fulfill his purpose, not anyone else's purpose. And by himself means that there's none to rival him. So that we can understand, none to rival him. Like in most religious conceptions, in Judaism, Christianity, Islam, their idea is that there's God and there's Satan. These are the two figures in their theology. In Islam, they call that Satan Byat, and they believe that if that Byat or Satan, that if he gets powerful enough, he can throw God out of heaven and take his throne and reign the world in darkness forever. But this is a kind of foolishness. It's a kind of full of stories to frighten children to behaving, you know. It is a typical of general religion. They say, oh, he was a God-fearing man. So then that's meant to say he was a good Christian man, he was a God-fearing man. He's frightened, he's afraid of God's wrath if he does anything wrong. And maybe that's necessary, right? Sometimes if you have children, you know that sometimes you have to frighten them a little bit to being good. You know? If some punishment is offered. If you don't stop this behavior, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. I'm going to slap your legs. Of course, if you do that now, you'll find yourself, in trouble with the police if you slap your children's legs. But that's when I was a kid. That was my mother's threat. I'm going to slap you. Yeah. Don't tell anyone. So we know that when sometimes children have to be a little fearful of punishment for them to behave in a proper way. And so people in general, the general people, their religion is fear of God. Fear of God. So they're fearful to do anything sinful because they know some punishment will come to them. And that's maybe the religion of the general people. But the religion of the saints is not fear of God, but love of God. And here we've got a different scenario altogether. So fear of God, that is one thing. But love of God, that means, that's actually diametrically different from fear of God. That we are inspired by love, and by love we may serve him according to our inner intuition that comes from love. So like you say, sometimes you threaten your children, you give them a slap on the legs, and someone may say, oh, she's a very cruel woman, always threatening to slap her. But people don't know why that is. Because mother knows her children, and she tells that out of love, not out of cruelty. It's out of love. So that they, don't jump out in front of traffic and things like that. Then, some way of teaching them how to behave. A little fear is sometimes necessary for that. But who's orchestrating that? The mother is completely inspired by love, not by desire to harm the child. but a desire to protect the child. So in the same way, we may serve God through fear, or we may serve God through love. And love has an all-inspiring aspect to it. Whereas fear is, one thing, but love is another. When love is in the equation, then we get closer to the heart of the Lord, because the Lord himself is love personified. All love. He is the all love. And our purpose is to develop our love for him. Now we're here in this material world, and we've turned our face from him and suffering the consequences of that. Once, some years ago, when I was in Kiev, in the Ukraine, and we had some preaching program, and one lady asked me, why is there so much suffering in the world? If God loves us, why doesn't he make everything perfect for us? Why doesn't he put it all right, He has the power to do that, surely, doesn't he? Why doesn't he do it? Why does he leave us suffering here in this world? So it's not a bad question, but my reply to her was, if he thought he needed to do that, he would have already done it. But the reason why we suffer in this material world, and that he doesn't make it like a perfect place of happiness for us, is to remind us that it is not our home. This world isn't our home. If everything were perfect, we wouldn't want to leave, would we? We'd just be happy. Oh yeah, this is great. Fantastic. When, this is a terrible thing. Tyagi Maharaj told me, he was on a radio interview. It was a kind of cross-section of religious people being interviewed. And so there was like a Christian, a priest, a rabbi, and a Muslim cleric, and and he was like one of the representatives of Hinduism. And so the interviewer was asking them, what's your idea of heaven? And when they asked the Muslim priest, what's your idea of heaven? He said, heaven means you're walking down the street and you see a bird flying in the sky, and as soon as you see it, it appears as a kebab in front of you. That's heaven. Probably not heaven for the bird flying in the sky, though. So, that most people's idea of spiritual fulfillment is an extension of our pleasure that we get here in this material world. Next door to me, we have a very nice couple and their children who live next door. But they're Jehovah's Witnesses, and so every Saturday they all get together and they go out door knocking, and they have and they're preaching to people. They have quite a spirit for that. I kind of admire that in one sense, because that is when they knock on the door, everyone's like, shove off, we're not interested. Most people are not interested, myself included. I get a kind of get-out clause because I'm the next-door neighbour, so they never knock on my door, because the neighbours don't want me to think badly of them, like they're religious fanatics or something, So we got a kind of get-out clause. But they have this magazine, you've probably seen it, called The Watchtower. And on the cover, often, they have like a picture of a paradise. And, lots of blue sky and sunny and nice trees, and there's fruits and flowers, and mum and dad are there, and the kids are there, and the dog's there, and everyone's like happy, enjoying, and this is like their idea of heaven. But it seems that one person is conspicuous by their absence in this picture. Who might that be? The provider of all of that heavenly atmosphere, the Lord, is he hiding behind the tree or behind the cloud or something, Their idea is that he's just the supplier of that. And their idea of spiritual fulfillment is like whatever you can conceive of as being idyllic pleasure in this world, you can have that eternally in heaven. And if God's even in the picture there, he's just providing all that. But, our conception is that he's in the center and we're all on the outskirt trying to satisfy him. Now, this is the Krishna conception, that we try to satisfy the Lord to make him happy. And someone would say, oh, yeah, that's a bit of a selfish God, isn't it? It's all for him and nothing for anybody else. Well, yeah, you can say that. That's one of the criteria that Hegel says. He's for himself. He exists for himself. He doesn't exist just to fulfill our desires. That's what most people think, right? Oh Lord, give me health and wealth and a cottage by the sea. Om Jai Jagadisha Hari. So, well, in fact, where I used to work many years ago, I had a friend who was a Christian, like a kind of evangelical Christian. And he was a nice guy, but he used to ask me, do you believe in God? I said, yeah, but I'm not really a Christian. And he says, oh, do you go to church? I said, no, I don't go to church, but I go to a temple. Anyway, he said, oh. So anyway, he says, we have a prayer meeting every Saturday. And we all get together to pray, to pray for everybody. But we know, right, that it's not proper to pray for yourself. So we have a little pre-prayer meeting, and I'll say to you, oh, Pandita, what do you need? And you say, well, I could do with some, winning the lottery, or, I quite like a new car, I quite like, and I say, yeah, and my daughter's A-level exams are coming up, like, could put in a good word for that if you want, so then when the prayer meeting comes, well, I'm not going to pray for myself, but please, Lord, give Pandita a new car and let her win the lottery. And, and she's saying, please let Devashis' kids pass their A-levels and, whatever it is like that. So he's telling me this is their formula, for doing that. And I said, what is it? And he's fooled by that? He said, what? What do you mean? I said, God, is he fooled by that? He said, no, I don't understand. Well, you are just praying for yourself, aren't you? Just through a proxy, Oh, I never thought of that before. So, that's what we see, right? We all, if you come from a Christian background, we're all raised up, to remember the Lord's Prayer. But the thing that we like most about that is, Lord, give us today our daily bread. Give us something. Of course, some Christians say, well, it's not about actual bread. It means give your blessing, your grace to us. Okay, that's good. But, But Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Dev, he says, whatever, even if you don't give me any bread today, even if you, leave me starving, I still worship you as my Lord, birth after birth, unconditionally. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, some people say that we should worship God because of all the good gifts that he gives us. So that's okay. But he says, but that then also means if he doesn't give us any good gifts, we're not going to worship him. So this is materialistic religion, that we put ourselves as the subject, and he's an object to us. We're praying to him, then he becomes like a magic charm, a rabbit's foot or something, like a lucky charm. Then we can ask him for this and that, and because we're part of the faithful, he's obviously going to be more merciful to us than anybody else. It's a kind of hubris, really. But the Lord loves all of his creation equally, even the atheists. He has much love for them also, and everyone. And rather, we don't pray to the Lord for anything for ourselves, because we know he already knows what we need, better than we do. And we might think we know what we need, and we may pray to the Lord for that, and he might even give it to us. But that could end up ruining our life, isn't it? We see that like people who suddenly become wealthy, like win the lottery or something like that. There's so many stories about how they ruined their life because of all that money that they got, you know. Of course, I don't think anyone would say no if that suddenly, you know, popped through your whatever inbox or whatever. And we could utilize that for Krishna service. But I bet you, for most of us, that would be quite a way down on the list of things that we would do with that money, isn't it? Probably top of the list would be that holiday to Bali or wherever it is, you know, or, you know, the new car, the big house, or, you know, all these things. They would be higher up on the list than serve Krishna. If there's anything left over at the end, we can use that for serving Krishna, you know, because we need to get some merit points there, you know, for when all that runs out. Anyway, so how, if we are meant for him, for himself, by himself, for himself, that means that everything is ultimately created by him. Sarva karana karanam. He is the cause of everything, the cause of all causes. That means that the whole creation is made by him, and we're part of that. That means we're also created by him, and therefore meant for him. I am meant for him. And this is like a turning point in spiritual thought. Rather than, like, what can I get from him? What can he give me to improve my lot, to improve my life, and all of the things that I desire in this world? Rather than that, it's like, okay, so I exist to fulfill his desire. Then what does that mean practically? How do I go about satisfying him? That's a puzzle, isn't it? Because he has everything, right? He's self-sufficient. There's nothing that he has, or rather, there's nothing that he doesn't have that we can provide. It's almost ludicrous to think about it, like in those terms. There's nothing that I have, nothing that I can do, nothing that I can produce that he might want. He's already got everything. And if we study the scripture, we'll find that in Vaikuntha, he's served with awe and reverence by his devotees like a great king, more than a king. Everything he desires is there. And in Vrindavan, he has everything, all of his beloved associates, Mother Jashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Srimati Radharani. They're providing everything for him. It's complete. It's not like that, it's good in Vrindavan, but it would be better if Devashis was there helping out. No, it's not like that at all. He has everything. And we can never become them. Those positions are all already taken. So what is it that we can do? But actually, the truth is there is something for us to do. And that's what Krishna consciousness is all about, is figuring out what that is. And how do we figure that out? By Sharanagati. Sharanagati means self-surrender, self-giving, Atmanivedanam. To give ourselves, offer ourselves to him. Here I am, Lord, warts and all. Good and bad, whatever I am, I offer myself to you today. Please, you use me as you want to use me. And then what? So Gurudev say, what does this Sharanagati mean? Does it mean to just surrender and lie down? or surrender and serve?
Surrender and serve.
Yes, correct. So we are to surrender and serve. And how do we serve God? Well, that's known by his devotees. That's what they're expert in, serving him. That's what the very word means, that. A devotee means those who are devoted to the Lord, to his service. And they can teach us how to serve the Lord. And, actually, it's told in the scripture that only those who are Sharanagata, surrendered, only to them does the Lord hear their prayers. He's way too busy to be hearing everybody's prayer for this, that, and everything else in the world. And what can he do for that? He could give us everything, but, if we've learned anything from, the Jim Carrey film Bruce Almighty, we found out that doesn't work, that he just satisfies everybody's desires. No, rather, we are to learn how to satisfy his desire. And Krishna's full of desire. Otherwise, how can we be full of desire? There's nothing that exists in the effect that doesn't exist already in the cause. And we've already established that. Sarva karana karanam. He is the cause of all causes. And he's overflowing with desire. But his desire and our desire are categorically different. Guru Maharaj says, outward similarity but categorical difference. So he desires some satisfaction, all kinds of satisfaction. He's Akila Rasamrita Murti, Rasaraj. And he's the enjoyer of all kinds of rasa. Rasa is a very deep word. That it's quite difficult to translate it in one word into English, rasa. There's so many different meanings. Even the gravy in your sabji, that's called rasa. But ultimately it means the essence. Rasa means the essence of life, if you like. What feeds us, what feeds him. He's the enjoyer of rasa, Rasaraj, Akila Rasamrita Murti, the emporium of rasa. And we're all desiring that rasa. But he is the cause of that and the enjoyer of that. And we know, it's been analyzed by the experts in devotion. That kind of rasa, the meaning of rasa. In a word, the best translation of rasa is love. To give love and to accept love is really rasa. In all its various forms. And they're multifarious forms. But by being inspired by love, which is called bhava. Bhav means love, but inspired love in action, if you like. Then we're inspired to serve him. And those who are fully surrendered to him, that dictation of the heart tells them how they should serve the Lord. Until we reach that, you can say, pure heart, then we're in need of some help, some direction. That's where the principle of Guru comes in. Guru means Krishna, actually. Once somebody said, when this was being discussed, somebody said to Guru Maharaj, but Guru is a jiva, and Guru Maharaj said, no, Guru is not a jiva, Guru is Krishna. What is coming through the Vaishnava, the jiva, who's being utilized by the Lord, that divine substance that's flowing through them, that's Krishna. It's not that we think the guru is, like you can say, flawed human being. There may also be some external characteristic, let's say. Maybe he's got bad eyesight, or maybe he has sometimes shows a bad temper, or maybe he's showing some bodily illness or something like that. So what will we say? Oh, that can't be guru, because guru has to be perfect in every respect. But that isn't guru, that's Superman. He's like perfect in every respect, materially. But guru means the via medium of Krishna flowing through his devotee. Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, definitely you are blessed, Sanatan, because Krishna wants to grace you through me. And what's coming through me, I don't really understand that, but it's coming through me to you. Krishna's utilizing me for that. But you're the object of his grace. So this way we see that the Guru graces the disciple with Dibya Gyan, with divine knowledge. And that may flow through the proper channel. And that channel, when that channel is open, that's called Guru. So, Guru just doesn't mean like, a jolly man with a big beard and some red clothing, sitting on a big chair. Guru means the inspired side of a Vaishnava. And actually only a Vaishnava can be a Satguru, proper Guru. Anyone can, as Gurudev said, anyone can make a chair for themselves and say, I'm a Guru. But that doesn't make them Guru. Guru means, actually the word Guru means heavy like the Himalayas. Means immovable, it's an immovable position. Can't be moved, can't be influenced by the things of this material world. And the opposite of that is lagu, and we are lagu. So lagu means we're floating here and there, drifting around. But if we anchor ourselves to the Guru, then we become situated in the path of divinity. And that Guru necessarily must be a Vaishnava Guru. Sometimes we hear, he's like he's an IT guru, they say, isn't it? And someone who's an expert in anything, it's become part of the vernacular. They call them a guru, that kind of guru. And so, we can say in a general sense it means a teacher, it means, a sadhu. But ultimately, Guru is Krishna. So that means Krishna only gives himself through the Vaishnava. That means the Mahanta Guru. Actually, Guru may be anywhere. We may see Guru in anything if we have the eye to be able to see that. But when we are conditioned and looking for help, then Guru appears to us as the Mahanta Guru in the shape of a Vaishnava. And Krishna will grace us through them. Otherwise, why does he bother telling Arjuna in the Gita? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. It seems redundant, right? Krishna is Arjuna's guru directly. He's got the direct line there, He doesn't need any to go anywhere else. Directly, Krishna is instructing Arjuna. Couldn't be better than that, could it? But Krishna's telling Arjuna, approach a spiritual master with exclusive regard. Pranipat means exclusive regard. Pariprashna, and ask relevant questions of him. proper inquiry for him, and sevaya, serve him. And he will reveal to you the absolute truth because he's directly in connection with that absolute truth. Jnaninas tattva darshana. He's already connected with that highest knowledge, and he can show that to you. He can reveal that to you if you satisfy him. So why does Krishna tell that to Arjuna? He's already instructing Arjuna. It seems redundant. No, because he's teaching Arjuna, this is the method by which I distribute myself in the world, through my devotee. There's no other possibility. Any other possibility of a relationship with Krishna is simply imagination. A relationship with Krishna must always be through his devotee. And this will be, we heard from Guru Maharaj, this will be the criterion. When Saraswati Thakur would meet any sadhu, almost his first question was always, and under who do you serve Krishna? Who's your master? And who do you serve? So here we can see what is the process. Anyone can say anything. But we want to know what is their authority. That is called amnaya. The distribution of the absolute truth is not a small thing. It's not something that you can find on any street corner. Unless on that street corner is a devotee selling a book. Sometimes it may be like that. Anyway, and Guru will teach us the process of devotional service and the process of Sharanagati, because we hear from Prahlad Maharaj the 9 different processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. 9 different types of devotion. Shravanam, beginning with Shravanam means hearing, Kirtanam, chanting, Vishnu Smaranam, remembering about the Lord, Archanam, worshipping the Lord, Vandanam, praying to the Lord, Dasyam, becoming the Lord's servitor, Sakyam, becoming the Lord's friend, Atmanivedanam, giving your whole self to him. So these 9 things, Prahlad Maharaj teaches. But of all of these things, the last one that he mentions, Atmanivedanam, is the most important. Because without that, Atmanivedanam means the same as Sharanagati. They mean the same thing. Without surrender to the Lord, without giving yourself to the Lord, then everything is just an external show. It has no real basis. You have to surrender to the Lord. And how do you surrender to the Lord? Well, you have to learn about that. And graciously, our Guru Maharaj has written a book, Prapanna Jivanamritam, which explains the whole science of Sharanagati, how to surrender to the Lord. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's also written a book called Sharanagati, full of lessons on how we can surrender to the Lord, how we should surrender to the Lord. Many Ramanujacharya, he wrote Prapanamritam, the nectar of surrender, and many examples of the great Vaishnavacharyas to teach us about surrender. And surrender is an internal thing, it's not an outward show. Krishna consciousness is not about, becoming member of some flag-waving society, jumping up and down. The society can't give you Krishna consciousness. only your sincere desire and this internal self-giving and surrender can give Krishna consciousness. We can't give that over to somebody else to do for us. Like in India, many times we see that in the time of Guru Maharaj, he was often invited to people's houses. Once or twice I went with Srila Govinda Maharaj. There's some puja going on for the family or some traditional puja. They want a priest to come and do the worship there. This is a very common thing. You pay for a priest to come and do, whatever it is, some puja on that particular day. Give them some money and, have some festival, feed the Vaishnavas, all those things. Sometimes Gurudev would come. But Saraswati Thakur says, it's not enough to pay a priest to worship Krishna. You yourself have to worship Krishna. You. And Krishna explains that very simply again in the Gita. If you offer me a leaf, a fruit, a flower, water, any of these things, if it's from your heart, I'll accept it. It's not a big complicated thing. He doesn't say you have to remember the Purusha Shukta mantra and you have to get up at dawn and stand on one leg and facing east and no. Just offer me from your heart some fruit, a flower, a leaf, some water. These are things which everybody has. Anybody has. And if you haven't got it, you can just go out into the street, right, and find those things very easily. But Krishna says, but if they're offered to me from your heart, I'll accept. This is how we worship Krishna. And Krishna is a collector of hearts. He doesn't care about how clever you are, how intellectual you are, how many shlokas you can remember. He doesn't care about that. How many rituals you've performed or anything. All he cares about is can you offer your heart to me? And the truth is we can offer our heart to him, but we have to learn how to do that. Because right now our heart is full of so many other dirty things, and we don't offer a dirty thing to Krishna. First, so that's why our Guru Maharaj would say, first deserve, then desire. So make yourself a fit recipient for the Lord's grace first. Try to do that. Srila Govinda Maharaj said, that we have to make ourselves a good receiver. So that divine mercy and knowledge and all of these things, they're always flowing. They're flowing now, everywhere. But we have to be able to tune into that. So Gurudev would say, just like if you have a transistor radio, if anyone remembers what a transistor radio is, that if you want to listen to a particular radio station, there's a particular kind of music you like, you have to just know what the frequency is and tune it in, isn't it? Then you can hear it. It's being broadcast right now, like many. Maybe, and in London, so many, maybe more than 100 radio stations, all broadcasting. But we're sitting here thinking, it's really quiet in here, isn't it? But if you just switch on your radio receiver, they can be blaring out in a few minutes once you've tuned it to the right station, the right frequency. So we ourselves, we have that receiver within us. We just have to learn to tune it to the right frequency. And then all of that, the divine grace and knowledge and all of these things, they'll flow within us if we can make ourselves a proper receiver. How to make yourself a proper receiver? Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Suhishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Shadohari. Is the same, always this coming back to this. We have to be humble. We have to be tolerant. We have to give honor to others and not expect any honor or respect for ourselves. If we can adjust ourselves in this way with the environment, then we'll become a proper receiver for the divine grace. The holy name of Krishna will flow through us 24 hours a day. The name proper, not Namaparad or even Namabas, but the pure name, Shuddha, can flow through you if you attune yourself with these tools of humility, tolerance, honor to all, and not expecting honor for yourself. Sounds easy, doesn't it? And the theory is easy, but the practice not so easy. Because the truth is we're not humble. We're not tolerant. We don't like to give honor to others. And we expect all kind of honor for ourselves. But why shouldn't we be humble? Why do we think we're so big? We live on this planet, right? Huge planet, Earth. And there's thousands and millions and billions of living entities that we share this world with. So many you can't count them. But we're thinking that we're the most important person on this planet. And this planet, like what, in the universe, are very small. In this whole universe, a very small thing. Almost negligible. And that's just this planet. What to speak of the universe itself? Are completely negligible. It's told that in the scripture that this universe is like a mustard seed in a sack of mustard seeds. So you're going home from the market with your sack of mustard seeds on your shoulder. If a few drop out, you're not going to stop to even scoop them up and put them back, are you? Just a couple of mustard seeds. So, if this universe were to just wink out of existence, it wouldn't be missed. It'd be like that, like dropping a couple of mustard seeds on the way home from the market. But still we insist that we're really important and that everybody should, pay attention to us. Why? It's the ego. So it's not an exaggeration when Srila Govinda Maharaj says the ego is like a mountain range, like the Himalayan mountain range. It's so big, our ego, existing in our mind, this, delusion about how important we are, how important our thoughts are, and all of these things. So, we need to remove that ego, demolish the ego, replace it with a different ego. Our identity. Our identity is a false identity. Our identity is something we see in a reflection in the mirror, and we're thinking that that's us. And all of these ideas and all of these prejudices and all of these experiences that we have, not just from this lifetime, but from so many lifetimes, they're all coming together. They make us who we perceive ourselves to be right now. But like the mystic poet, thinker, William Blake, he said, when the doors of perception are purified, then we'll see the infinite. And it's only because we're clogged up with all of this misinformation and misconceived ideas about ourselves that we can't see the reality. It's like holding something in front of your eyes you can't see. So we have to change our ego. And what is the ego of a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu has told that. Naham vipro narapati napi vaishon nashudro. Naham varnina chagrihana vanastir chatirva. Kintu prajan nikila paramananda purnamritam der. Gopi bharta pada kamalayo. Das anudas. I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. I'm not a Brahmachari or a Grihasta or a Vanaprastha or a Sannyasi. And what am I? I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the ever-expanding ocean of joy, the master of the gopis, Lord Krishna. That's my ego. Mahaprabhu says, this is my ego. This is the ego of the Vaishnava. Not all the things of this world. That's all false. But you must have some ego. Otherwise you can't exist. Ego means, like literally, who I am. So we just need to change that from the false ego. And when Mahaprabhu says das anudas, it's not hyperbole or just a poetic expression. The servant of the servant of the servant's servant. It's the reality. Once someone said to Guru Maharaj, like, what sort of like a strata of servitor? He said, I think third place. Can't be first place. That's Jashodananda, Radharani, all of those. Can't be second place. That's their servitors. I think third place. Guru Maharaj said, no, fifth. The highest position the jiva can attain, fifth place, servitor. Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant's servant. So this is Mahaprabhu's teaching us what is the reality, what is our prospect. And we shouldn't think, that's a bit of a drag, isn't it? Fifth. I want to be up there. I want to be up on the top there. No. Like any connection, the least connection with that highest thing, that's the soul's greatest fortune. And it is possible. We should never think that it's impossible. By constitution, it's not possible. The jiva soul, the tatastha jiva, does not have the capacity to accommodate the infinite. Like this glass of water. This glass only has a certain capacity. You keep pouring, it's just going to overflow. So the jiva, tatastha jiva, is the same. It only has a certain capacity that it can hold. So that's why Guru Maharaj would say, what will you understand with your puppy brain? And we have some brain, but it's like a puppy's brain. So, what will you be able to understand? Not so much. But the infinite has infinite capacity, and he can make himself known to us if he so desires. When the tatastha jiva, the Bada jiva, surrenders to the Lord and enters into the Vaikuntha realm, he's no longer considered as a tatastha jiva. He's now considered part of the Chit Shakti. By taking shelter of the Chit Shakti, the Lord's internal potency, he becomes promoted to another category of existence. And in that existence, all spiritual wealth is endowed upon that jiva. That's the prospect of the tatastha jiva through Sharanagati. And it is attainable. Because otherwise, why would the Lord create us? If it wasn't something that we could get, if it wasn't something that we could achieve, why would he create us at all? Just to suffer in this material world? Round and round and round? No. That's all temporary and that's all false. The Lord created us for a life of love with him. So he's Satchidananda Vigraha, that same verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. The Paramishvara, the supreme enjoyer, is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. He is the very embodiment of eternity, knowledge and bliss. Anadir Adir Govinda. He is the original cowherd boy of Vrindavan. And Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. This is the beginning of Brahma Samhita, the hymn of Lord Brahma to Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha, and the jiva is also told to be Satchidananda. So, but if we examine that, Sat, that we are eternal, existing, yeah, we can admit, yes, eternal existence, yes. And Chit, we're conscious of that. So Guru Maharaj says to just exist has no meaning. But to be conscious of your existence. But to be conscious of your existence isn't enough. You have to be conscious and exist for some purpose. And that purpose is Anandam. So although we're told to be Satchidananda, we don't find that element is existing within us. Anandam. But Anandam, Srila Guru Maharaj says, Anandam, joy, bliss, ecstasy, is the food of the soul. The soul has its own food, and that is Anandam. So the potential is there for us to be filled with Anandam. And that's the purpose of our existence. That's the reason for our existence. To taste nectar, as Guru Maharaj says. Search for that nectar. Don't be satisfied with anything but nectar. Amrita. Awake, arise, search for your fortune. Search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. This is the call, the clarion call. Reach your ultimate potential, spiritual potential. You are Sat, you are Chit, but you can and need Anandam. There's no purpose to existence without Anandam. The fulfillment of the soul, the very food of the soul is Anandam. Don't be satisfied with anything but that. And where is that available? That's available in the service of the emporium of rasa, Lord Sri Krishna. So we have to try to establish ourselves in the realm of that service. Reality, Guru Maharaj says, reality, the beautiful, that is Krishna. We have to somehow connect with that plane of reality. Then we'll be situated eternally in Anandam. And Anandam is always increasing. We can't imagine how much joy there is in our spiritual home, where we are designed and destined for. It's already waiting for us. We just have to open ourselves up, make ourselves a fit receiver, then we can all go there. And beautifully once when Guru Maharaj was talking about Krishna consciousness and Vrindavan, and one American lady at the back of Guru Maharaj said, any questions? And she said, yes, Maharaj. Can we all go there? And Guru Maharaj said, what did she say? And someone said, she says, can we all go there? Guru Maharaj sat back and he said, yes, we can all go there. So it's not a dream, it's not a fantasy or a fairy tale, it's reality. And it is our birthright and our eternal prospect. And we shouldn't be cowed down by this material world to think that we're not fit for that. We can say, because you're worth it. And you are worth it because you're part of Him, created by Him. You may not be worth it for, L'Oreal or whatever, but you're worth it for Him. So anyway, we can stop today. unless anyone has a question. Went on a bit late, so now it's time for Arati.
Jai Sriman Devashis Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Vaishnav Sevankari Brinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oy. Bhaja Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Krishna Sri Radha
Jai Priya Kinkari Jai Prakash Shri Guram Dhara Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Nam Sri Vichara Varashta Sata Sriman Bhakti Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Nam Sri Vichara Varashta Sata Sriman Bhakti Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Madhacharya Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Nam Sri Vichara Varashta Sata Sriman Bhakti Sundar Devashis Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Nam Sri Vichara Varashta Sata Sriman Bhakti Rakshakshara Devashis Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Nam Sri Vichara Varashta Sata Sriman Bhakti Saraswati Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Shodas Bhakti Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Siddhananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Padma Jagannath Babji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Bhagavad Vidya Bhushan Ki Jai. Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Naradam Shivananda Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Das Giriraj Goswami Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhata Gunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhata Das Gunath Sadhu Sai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Pranam Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Das Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Prabhu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasai Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Saprisashi Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saprisashi Man Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Madhur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Gangamuna Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Gokir Goran Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Dham Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ki Jai. Sudha Bhakti Vinavinash Shri Nrsimhadev Ki Jai. Bhakti Prabhara Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Ganga Raja Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya Chaitanya Ki Jai. Vishnu Vaishnava Raja Sabha Ki Jai. Akra Master Raja Shri Chaitanya Math Ki Jai. Satyasaka Math Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Math Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Math Correspondent Chapter Ki Jai. Vishnu Vyapita Satyasaka Math Ki Jai. Ananta Kochi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sanat Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Amrita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur
Shri Radha Ki Jai.